guys are having a great day. Today's target is a bridge target. So bridge is awesome because it works your legs. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs, your seat, your quads to some extent, your core. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. You may even get your calves involved in this sequence depending on how you choose to change things up. So it's a quick little sequence. If you have not done anything else today, make sure that you take a little time to warm up before you begin this sequence. So you could take a quick little walk around your block. You could run up and down in your living room a few times. If you have kids, you could have a little dance party for 5 minutes before you work out. You could do some jumping jacks, anything that's going to make you feel like you've gotten your heart rate up a little bit, you've moved a little bit, your joints are feeling nice and loose, and you are ready to go. So we're going to take it down onto our backs. So take a minute when you get down to the floor, as we always do, just to place the feet about hip or sitting bone distance apart. Make sure you can feel the entire foot making contact with the floor. So on each side, all 5 toes, the whole ball of each foot, and the whole heel. And then we're going to do one more thing, since we're going to be in bridge for a while before we set ourselves up. Take a minute to spread your shoulders out across your mat and to make sure your collarbone is nice and broad. So what we don't want is this kind of rounded position where we're pulling the shoulders up off the floor. And the base of the shoulder and our feet are going to become our anchors when we go up into the top of bridge. So as we often do in warm-ups, let's just take 4 bridges that are less about strengthening and more about spinal articulation. So we'll inhale, we'll roll it up, and then we'll exhale and we'll roll it down. So you can kind of think of this as finishing up your warm-up. Inhaling as you come up. Or taking a full breath if you want to slow it down a little bit. I find that that's what I'm doing so that I can get a nice deep articulation. I'm taking a full breath on the way up and a full breath on the way down. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. And then let's roll up to the top of the bridge and let's hold there. So unlike a yoga bridge where we really press the hips up and we arch the back a little bit, this is a Pilates style bridge. So you want to feel like your spine is neutral in the bridge. So if you remember rib-hip connection from other videos or the neutral tutorial, even though you're sloping from the knees down, you should still feel like that rib-hip connection is intact. The other thing we want to play with really quickly is just making sure that our feet are in a position that alleviates discomfort in our knees. So you can see my heels are right underneath my knees. This is comfortable for me. But if you feel pressure on your knees, you can try maybe moving the feet out an inch, moving the feet in an inch, but we really don't want them any closer to our hips than directly underneath our underneath our knees, our heels underneath our knees. So come down, because we've been holding that bridge for a while and you're probably already feeling your muscles. And let's find that rib-hip connection at the bottom of the bridge. So remember, we just want to feel like the core is nice and long, it's gently engaged, the ribs and the hips are on the same plane. Now we're not going to roll our bridge. We're going to keep the spine in exactly the same shape, and we're just going to lift it up and then lower it back down. Exhale up. Inhale down. So we've reversed the breath compared to what we normally do. Exhaling up and inhaling down. Remember, this is a quick target. We're really focusing on our hamstrings and our seat. We're also getting some good core work, and you might feel the fronts of your thighs just a little bit. So let's do 4 more. Exhaling as we come all the way up Inhaling as we come down. You can take breaks anytime you need to throughout this sequence. Let's do one more. Now, let's take the hips up and hold them there. Instead of coming all the way down, let's come halfway. Let's hover above the mat and then press right back up. Inhale, hover down. Exhale, press back up. Inhale, hover. Exhale, press. Inhale, hover. Exhale, press. 4 more. Whole foot still presses down into the mat, so make sure you're not rolling on your feet. 1 more. And then we're going to press up to the top of the bridge, and we're going to hold for little pulses. Little up and squeeze. Squeeze. Weight is in the heels, pressing those hips up, up, up. You can take an exhale with every up, or you could inhale 2, exhale 2 as we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more pulses, and then we hold at the top. We take a nice big breath in, exhale, slowly come down, and then go ahead and bring your knees up in towards your chest. You can just hold, or you can gently rock side to side, and this should feel really good right about now. And then go ahead and bring your feet back down to the floor. Make sure the shoulders are still spread out, nice and wide across your mat. You feel the whole foot connected to the floor. Now, we're going to repeat the same sequence, a little less instruction, obviously. And we have the option, and it is just an option, of lifting the heels, just like we do in our standing parallel position or our V position. It is just an option, and what it's going to do is fire up the back of your thigh a little bit more. So if you choose it, you want to make sure that your weight is in the big and the second toe. We don't ever want to roll over onto those baby toes. And if you find that that's where your body goes, I would work with a flat foot for now. So we're pushing into the big and the second toe. Spine is staying in the same shape, and we're exhaling up and inhaling down. Exhaling up and inhaling down. Now, one thing that I will tell you will help you if you feel yourself kind of rolling out on your ankles or having a hard time staying over the big and the second toe is if you have a little playground ball or something. You can get them very inexpensively at a place like Target. You can put that in between your knees and squeeze it, and it will make it easier to keep your legs in alignment. Let's do 2 more, just like this. Let's do 1 more, and then let's lift up to the top. You can always place your feet flat, and let's go halfway down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to give myself a little extra challenge. If you notice that you tend to use your arms and you really push with your arms to lift your body, take the arms away so that you can no longer do that. Let's do 2 more of these. Keep pressing into the big and second toe, or let the feet go flat. And then lift the hips up to the top, and little tiny pulses. Little up and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Breathe. Remember, you can take quick exhales with every up, or you can inhale 2, exhale 2. We've got about 4, 3, 2. Hold it at the top. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, slowly come down. And again, bring those knees up in toward the chest. Feel free just to hold, or if you want to take that little rock side to side. So we're going to do the same sequence one more time, but we're changing the position of our legs just slightly. So just so that you can see it in setup, and this is a good time for you to continue to enjoy your break, I'm going to turn so that my feet are facing you, just so that you can see what this looks like. So we come from this hip distance parallel position, just like we do when we're standing, and then we bring our feet into that V position. So you can see my heels have come together, my knees and my toes are pointing out toward the corners, and I can either press the soles of my feet flat onto the floor, or I can choose to sit on the outer edges of my feet, and that's just a personal preference. I like to press my soles down into the mat. So now that you know what the setup is, I'm going to go ahead and turn back to the side. So let's start with those feet, hip distance and parallel, and then let's turn it into V position. So our heels are touching, we make that V with our feet, with our thighs, with our knees. And when you're ready, we take it all the way up with an exhale. Inhale back down. Exhale up. Inhale down. And what you'll notice is we've shifted the work to the outer edges of the seat. Not all of the work, but the work that we really feel, instead of being way back here where it was before, is a little bit more on those outer edges. If you like, you can always reach the hands up toward the ceiling so that you're not using your arms. Keep opening up the thighs, opening up the knees. I believe we have about 2 more of these. Exhaling on the up, because that's where we feel the work. Now press up to the top, and then come down halfway. Hover and repress. Hover and repress. Now when you hover, make sure you lower everything together. What you don't want to do is lower your rear end and arch the back. So you want to keep that spine in that neutral position and lower the entire unit together. Let's do 2 more. Anybody else feeling their inner thighs? I don't know if it's this or if it is something else I have done today, but they are on fire. Lift it up to the top and little tiny pulses. Inner thighs are sneaky. They get involved in a lot of stuff when you wouldn't suspect them to be working quite so hard. So let's do about 10 more of these. And we've got about 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it at the top. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale. Slowly come down. One more time. Bring those knees up into the chest. Rock or stay still. Tough stuff, isn't it? Very effective. I love bridge. Bridge is one of my very favorite things to do. We are going to polish with one last challenge. Now, we're going to try to go single leg. We're going to do a single leg bridge on each side. If you feel that that's not something you want to do today, or you feel like you need to build up some strength before you get there, which is wonderful, totally fine, I would do both legs and just a regular bridge, no lifting of the heels or anything like that. So we're going to bring the feet back down to the floor, find that hip distance parallel position, spread out those shoulders nice and wide. So if you're going to keep both feet on the floor, you're just going to lift up both hips and pulse, just like we've been doing. If you want to give yourself that single leg challenge, we're going to take the right leg and lift it up to tabletop position. And then all we're going to do is lift up into bridge and start to pulse. And we want to keep the hips level. So you don't want to drop your right hip down toward the floor. You want to keep the hips level on the same plane. If you want to, you can reach your right leg up toward the ceiling. Sometimes that helps us get a little extra lift, gives us a little extra endurance. We have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more pulses. Hold it here. Bring the right foot down to the floor and lower all the way to the mat. So we have just this last side to go. Reset your position. Bring your left leg up to tabletop And when you are ready, lift up into that bridge and begin your pulse. Remembering to keep those hips level. So again, you don't want the lifted hip to start to drop. Breathe, of course. And if you feel like it, reach that leg up toward the ceiling. Keep breathing. Keep pressing through both hips. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And foot down first. I almost forgot. And then lower your spine. Good. Stretch time. So let's take the right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, and open the right leg. We're in our figure 4. Feel free to stay here. Let that right hip start to open as we take those deep breaths. And then at any point, only if you want to, feel free to bring those legs up in toward the chest. And we haven't done this variation yet. You can rock the figure 4 gently side to side. And what it does, which I think is kind of cool, is it brings you in and out of the intensity of the stretch. I kind of like it. If you prefer to stay still, totally fine. And then come on down, and let's switch sides. Take that left ankle, cross it over the right thigh, open up that right leg. You might stay here. I'm going to stay here for a breath or two. Let that left hip start to ease into the stretch. And then only if it feels like a good idea, we start to bring both legs in toward the chest. And then if you really feel like it, you can add that rock side to side. And always breathing, always. The more you get used to focusing on breath, the more you'll realize how much you love it and how important it is for doing things well and getting full benefit out of what you do. Breathing is so important. Let's bring the feet down. Let's take the right leg, extend it up toward the ceiling. You can clasp behind your calf or your thigh, just avoiding the knee. And let's go ahead and draw the leg in toward the chest. At the same time, you want to think about pressing your tailbone toward the floor. And let's do a flex end point on the foot. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. 2 more. And then go ahead and come on down. We'll switch sides, finding that hamstring stretch. Remembering to avoid the knee. Drawing the leg toward the chest, sending the tailbone toward the floor. And then let's add inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. I don't know if you can hear, my fan is starting to squeak. So I apologize if you hear the squeak. It's very hot here, and I've got big, heavy photography lights that are baking me, so I would melt without my fan. Go ahead and bring the foot down. Let's take the arms out nice and wide. Press the shoulder blades into the floor, and then go ahead and twist your lower half one way, your head the other. Breathe. And then come on up, and we'll switch sides. And then we'll come up. And let's just end with a little stretch for the inner thighs, soles of the feet together, legs open. Arms at our sides, palms up, deep breaths. So feel free to stay here as long as you like. You could even take this as a little rest period. Hope you enjoyed the bridge target. I love bridge. I look forward to bringing a lot more variations of bridge to you, and I will see you next time.